Hey guys, Allie here tonight. So I wanted just to bring up the topic of imagination. A lot of people talk about, and I do the same, how imagining a scene or doing some kind of quick scene of your desired fulfilled and come back to that off and on throughout the day. And that is imagination. But I also wanted to bring up that we are imagining all the time throughout our entire day, whether we think we are or not. Every time we're thinking about something, we're imagining. Now, the key is, are we thinking about something that is empowering and helping to bring about more of what we want? Are we imagining something that is disempowering and is something that is not what we want and that is really maybe upsetting to us? So a lot of people will go, so many people do this, all of us included, I'm sure. We will have something, I don't know, a road rage situation. I used to have that a lot when I was younger. But where somebody cuts us off or somebody, just totally, doesn't give a turn signal or whatever. And we get all pissed off because we almost slam into the back of them, and after that's over, we'll keep reliving that for a few minutes over and over. Or if we go into a shop and we think somebody's rude to us, or it's an encounter that we don't think that they acted appropriately, and we'll rehash it in our mind. And our mind always likes to be in the right, and so it'll rehash how this person was wrong and that we were right. And a lot of times we spend a lot of our time in our minds thinking about things that have occurred and rehashing them, and things that mostly things that we haven't even enjoyed or that are empowering at all. A lot of times we ruminate on things that have made us very angry and that are very upsetting and that are hurtful. And the thing is, guys, is when we're doing that, when we're constantly ruminating on a certain thing that happened, the way somebody treated us, or whatever it is, when we keep reliving that, we are imagining it over and over in this present moment. So the subconscious doesn't know the difference between if something happens to us in the physical or it happens through our imagination. We still have all the same feelings and emotions and reactions that possibly come up to that scenario when we're thinking about it. So every time we think about it, we're bringing that up over and over and reliving it. So we're getting into that energetic state over and over again. And if it's a very I would say low vibration or disempowering kind of state and leaves us maybe really angry, frustrated, or feeling like, we're right and they're wrong, or wanting revenge or anything like that. Anytime we do that, we're getting into that energetic state every time that we think about it. So when we're in an energetic state, more energetic thoughts that are aligned with that state start to come in. So when we're thinking about something that makes us, upset, or really angry, or really hurt, we start to draw in more thoughts, ideas, people, things that are aligned with that energetic state, with that lower energetic state. And so, most of us I grew up most of my adult life just living mostly in my mind, through my day-to-day activities, or going over things that I experienced over and over again, or, encounters I had over and over again, and just, living in our head. Like a lot of us do that, but I don't think people realize the magnitude of that in terms of reality creation. And when we're constantly just living in our head, first of all, we're not present to what is. The most powerful moment is this present moment. And when we're present in a moment, that is when we are fully embodied in our power. And not only are we fully present, but we're open to all the different things that can come in when we're in a present state. Versus if we're caught up in our mind running stories and we are lost in that story, then we're much less apt and able to recognize opportunities or circumstances or conditions that come up that might lead us where we'd like to go. So I just want everybody to really, really stay focused on where your mind goes during the day. And we don't have to make this a hard thing or a chore thing. We don't have to, be like, oh, what am I thinking every moment? I don't want to make people feel like that. But I do want to, give a gentle reminder of just, be the observer and just happen to notice, at different points throughout your day, if you're caught up in your mind. Are you imagining a certain story? And are you caught up in that and reliving that? Because remember, that is just recreating more of the same. Now, maybe it won't recreate the exact same circumstance, but it will recreate circumstances, conditions, and people that are energetically matched to that story. So it'll create more of that. So if it's not something that we want to have more of, and it's something that, was really unpleasant, then we don't want to continue to ruminate and imagine that in our minds over and over. No matter how right we are, our ego is always wants to be right, always wants to, think about it like how we were wronged and they were not right and we were in the right. A lot of us, our ego is really hell-bent on, being right in situations and how somebody else was wrong. And that's how it really separates us from other people, But the key, and that's not a place that you really want to be creating from, because it's just going to create more of the same, and that's not going to feel good. So, if you're imagining things, at least make sure, if you're caught up in a story during the day, or you catch yourself kind of not in the present, but you are thinking about something, make it something that is empowering and worthwhile and something you'd like to create more of, even if it's even if it's just a happy memory, a pleasant thing that happened. That's great. But, in all reality, we can think about that. And for me, I always like to try to, and I'm really working hard on this, to come back to the present moment. Maybe I have a nice thought, but come back to the present, because that's where all the power is. So come back to the present, rest in the end, that everything is unfolding perfectly, that all my desires and everything is unfolding in every moment. I'm living my best life in each moment. I always come back to a very general ending and rest in that knowing, and then come back to the present after I've, found that I've been imagining something good or not so good. I always like to come back to the present. But at least, guys, if you get caught up in your head in a story, at least make it a story worth recreating. Meaning, if you're thinking about it, make it something that you want to have more of in your life, and not a story that you would not like to experience more of. So just remember, you're a very powerful creator. And when you're imagining different things, that creates an energetic state around you, and it brings more of the same. It attracts more of the same to you, and that recreates more of that kind of thing in your reality. So you want to be really, present and aware of what's happening, and don't just get lost in thoughts and stories and experiences and circumstances or situations that happened, and just continually think about them and think, well, that's no big deal. I'm not talking to anybody about it. They're just going through my head. That is still extremely powerful. Because like I said, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. So it's going to experience them in each moment as it's just happening again and again and again. And if that's something that doesn't feel good, then you want to let that go. So, all right, guys, I think that's all for tonight. I hope everybody's having a good week so far, and I will be on tomorrow. So drop any comments below, and thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.